Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl, Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. Hope you are having a lovely day and hopefully maybe a nice little afternoon or evening. So what I do is I break down basic math concepts, and usually you'll see it for most of Algebra 1, Algebra 2, but then you will also see some of these problems on the GED, the ASVAB, the ACCUPLACER, TEAS test, HESI test, any of the high school equivalency tests. But just basically, let's see. Go ahead, try one of the problems. And then, if anything, go ahead and put your answer into the chat, and then I go over it. It is as simple as that. I know, it's cray-cray. But here's an example. So if 12K privates, okay, this is probably usually for the ASVAB, but we can still work it out. If 12K privates, 8F lieutenants, and 6R captains are divided into 2R equal squads, which of the following would express the number of members of one squad? Is it A, 6K plus 4F plus 3R? B, 6K plus 4F divided by R plus 3? C, 12K plus 8F plus 4R? Or D, 12K plus 8F plus 3R? And probably people are probably thinking I'm talking in code. Welcome to algebra. So as you guys are coming on in, let's take a look, take a gander. And go ahead. If you're just like, Audrey, I'll kind of wait for you to do it, you can go ahead and put a question mark into the comments. That would be great because it'll kind of let me know, should I move on or should I stay? So don't stress yourself out. Don't like, oh no, I'm not doing this. I'm running away. I don't understand what's going on. But I am here to break the concepts down for you. That's what I'm supposed to do. Hello, Jordan Square. I see you. User 94. Hello, hello. Franks, thank you so much for coming on in. Thank you for the taps. Love the love. So, I know it's freaking you out. You don't want to admit to it. That's okay. That's fine. But let me see if I can break it on down for you. All right. So we have privates, we have lieutenants, we have captains, right? And if we're going to divide them into equal squads, well, one of the things that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to add them all together. So I'm going to use my paper here. I'm going to raise it up just a hair. And then I'm going to add, we got our 12K, plus our 8F, okay, plus our 6R. And if we're going to divide them, we're going to divide them into 2R. So we don't know how many squads that are, but it's being represented by 2R squads. So if we know anything about algebra, we know that we have a 12, an 8, a 6, all being divided by 2. So that means I can divide the 12 by 2, I can do the 8 by 2, I can do the 6 by 2, because the numerator here, they all have a 2 in common that I could factor out. So if I decide to factor it out, I know that I would have, if I pull the 2 out, what would be left? What times 2 will give me 12. So if I factor out, I'll have a 6K. Then 8 divided by 2, that'll give me a 4F. And 6 divided by 2 will give me a 3R. And then dividing all of that by 2R. Okay, so right now, I can cancel out this 2 and this 2. So now I also notice that with the R's, just the R's can cancel out. So then what's left over, if I may raise up, is going to be 6K plus 4F. That is still in association with the singular R. But when it comes to the 3R divided by R, what's left over is the plus 3. Okay, so my answer is going to be 6K plus 4F over r plus 3. So this is actually going to be answer 2B. I know, that was a tough one. But of course, we got to start off tough so we can kind of ease on into it. Okay? All right. Right. So now, let's take a look. Flip this around so you get some room. So we have 23. So if we have anybody that's like taking the GED, you're probably like, I'm not going to have that in there. Yes, you are. Okay. Those are those 4-point questions. Now, the difference between the GED and sometimes the ASVAB is one, the progression, because ASVAB is a progressive type test. The better that you do, the higher the score will go. Whereas for the GEDs, you have 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 4-point questions. Okay, 4-point questions have a little more difficulty, but it's mostly like equations of lines. And also we have some evaluations. So a question like this on the GED or any high school equivalent, this is like a 3-point question right here. And we want to get as many as those 3 and 4-point questions than anything. So they said if x does not equal 0, q equals 2, and r equals 4, which of the following would equal r squared x squared plus q to cubed x over q squared x? And you're like, there she is. She's talking gibberish again. I think Audrey's having a stroke. No, it's algebra. Okay, so they want to know which one will be equal to this once you substitute the 2 for the Q and the 4 for the R. Okay, so would my answer look something like A, B, C, or D? Barbecue chicken wings? I don't know why you're here. But see, that's what the best thing is. You are scrolling. And now that you put a message in, I'm in your algorithm. How's it feel, baby? Kind of creepy, right? All right. So here we go. When Jordan was saying C, Big Lynn is saying C, Magical Girl is saying C. That's cute. AJ is saying A. Okay. Do you have to simplify it? Yes, you would have to simplify it. Okay, you took your GED math. What was your main problem? I passed it. Okay, you took the math 4 times. Hey, it doesn't matter, Walt, how many times you took it 4 times. 1, congratulations. I'm proud of you. Good job. All right. Glad that you passed it. What would X be? Well, we know it's not 0, so that means it could be anything. And if you notice, all the answers have an X into it. Oh, you're so welcome. Because trust me, I know it's not easy when you get away from school and then you try to go back to it and you're just like, what the heck am I learning? Why am I doing this? Oh, wait, I'm doing this for a job, for me to keep a job, but yet I don't make more money. Huh, crazy. Okay, Henry is saying A. Okay, AJA is equal to -1/2. That's what you think it is. Okay, Star is saying A. There's that Miriam is saying B. Okay, I see you a couple times. All right, so let's take a look. So we are substituting. So our original, we have an R squared. We have an X squared plus that Q, and that's being cubed. Then we have an X over our Q squared X. So they're telling us what to substitute in. So for the R, anytime I see an R, I'm going to put a 4. Every time I see a Q, I'm putting a 2. Okay, so this is what's called evaluating. So we're plugging in. So right now, let me lift that up for a bit so we can focus right on with our substitution. So now, 4 squared. 4 squared does not mean 4 times 2. Stop it, okay? 4 squared means I am multiplying this base of 4 to itself twice, aka 4 times 4. So now, 4 times 4, thank you, Star, is telling me it's 16, bringing down the x squared, plus 2 raised to the 3rd power, or 2 cubed. Now, again, that doesn't mean 2 times 3. It means 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 gives me 4. 4 times 2 gives me 8. Then we already talked about what 2 squared is. 2 times 2, that gives me 4. And we bring down its x. So now I'm taking a look at my answer choices. So with my answer choices, I'm trying to see if we have anything with 16 plus 8 over 4x. Well, if you notice, I don't see any fractions. So something is telling me I need to reduce this a little bit more. So in order for me to do that, let's see what they all have in common. Well, 16, 8, and 4, the lowest number that they all have in common is a 2, but the best one would be a 4. Because if I do 16 divided by 4, that gives me 4. If I do 4 divided by 4, that gives me a 1. And if I do 8 divided by 4, that gives me 2. But now all 3 terms have at least one x in common. So x squared divided by x, when you divide, you subtract your exponents. So that means there's one x left up here, but there wouldn't be an x down here. But if I do the same division with x divided by x, they'll cancel out. So now what's left over? We have 4x plus 2. And 4x plus 2 is our answer choice of A. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Star. Yeah, so I know in here some people are like, oh man, I got A long time ago. You're taking forever. Well, I tried to hit on the people that always said, I hate math, or I was never good at math. I don't know what's going on, or can we just move on? Okay, so for me personally, I was like, you know what? I don't want to be that person. Okay, I do not want to be that person. I want to help people with their math skills, get them encouraged a little bit. So in order for me to do that, I like to take things step by step. All right. So in order for me to keep with time, this is what we got to do. So now we're going to simplify. We have 6x squared plus 5xy squared times y minus 4xy minus 9x times 4xy. I know, this is when it's getting into the tougher problems, especially if you're doing the ASVAB. And these are definitely your 3-point questions for the GED. I'm giving you a heads up. I'm hoping you're absorbing it. Because if you skip any of the 4-point questions, like say for GED people, if you're doing slope, equation of the line, factoring, system of equations, if you skip any of those, you will not pass the GED. I'm going to tell you, mathematically, it will never calculate to that. So you have to get at least 3 of those 4-point questions, okay, in order to pass that GED. Just give me a heads up. All right, so here we go. Yes, don't get scared. Don't be scared. All right, so it's easier. Let's take it one side at a time. Let me make my paper a little bit shorter. Okay, so I'm going to cover up this side just for a moment. So if we are, here we have multiplication. So basically you're multiplying or you're distributing that y to everything inside of that first parenthesis. And you're probably saying, well, how do I distribute a y? So when you're multiplying and you're dealing with a variable, all you're basically doing is adding it on. So 6x squared y plus, okay, because that side didn't have any y's. This side does. We have a y squared. So when we're multiplying and they have the same base, we're going to add the exponents. And if you don't see an exponent with that y, it's assumed to be a 1. So that means we have 5x y cubed. Okay, we have 2 y's here, we have 1 y there, add together, it will give you your y cubed. All right, so now we're going to take it to the other side. Hopefully this is helping a little bit. So now we're going to distribute this 4xy to everything in its parenthesis. 4 times 4 gives us 16. X times x gives me x squared. Y times y gives me y squared. Okay, remember when you're multiplying and they're the same base, you're adding the exponents. We have a negative sign or a minus sign. I like to think of it as a negative sign, less confusing. Now we're going to multiply 4 and 9. So 4 and 9 gives me 36. X times x gives me x squared. Y times x, two separate worlds. So we're going to have to bring just the y down because we can't multiply an x and a y. We can bring them close together, but they won't be able to date. You know what I'm saying? All right. So that's the other side. Now, those two items, I'm going to put a parenthesis around. Now I want you to subtract them. So this is where I'm going to kind of leave you alone for a moment. So when you go ahead and subtract, tell me what my answer choice would be. Would it be A, B, C, or D? Okay, well, thank you, Paul. Is it Talea Smith is saying it's B? Tut, 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 tut. Ah, it's expertise. Because if I did it in pencil, you wouldn't be able to read it. It's a lot clearer when it's in pen. Okay, all. Okay, 785 is saying D. Crystal saying B. Aber is D. Chrissy saying B. Super Big saying C. Okay, Star is saying B. Okay, TT is saying B, my T squared. Phoenix is saying A. I forgot how to do this. That's okay. All right, CC is saying D. Caleb, I forgot what you were saying before it just changed on me. Caleb saying B. Yaz is saying B. Okay, Black Girl Gamer B. Sasha, hola Sasha. Sexy is saying B. Angel saying D. Okay, you're saying it's B. All right. So we got some B's, we got some D's. Julius is saying C. All right, so we got everything. Some people are like, I don't know. Yeah, okay. Chrissy's changing back to A. Okay. All right. So let's take a look. We are subtracting. Now, when we subtract, we want to combine like terms. So that means they have to have the same variable and exponent combination. So the only thing I see is I have this 6x squared y, which I'm going to use my highlighter so you can see it a lot better. So we have that, and the only one that has an x squared y is that negative 36 x squared y. Okay, we can't combine these two. Okay, because they're not the same combination. That is 1x, that's an x squared. This is an x cubed, that's an x squared. Two separate worlds. So when it comes down to it, I can look for the 5x cubed because that seems very rare. So the only ones that have the 5x cubed is A and B. So that means C and D are both out. Boom, 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 boom. Okay? They both have that negative 16x squared y squared, so that doesn't help me. But what helps me is what's going on here at the latter part. So we have a positive 42 and we have a negative 30. So now we got to think. It's going to be 6 minus a negative 36. Okay? So it's not just 6 minus 36, which would give me my negative 30, but it's minus a negative. So when it's minus a negative, that means it's really a positive. Okay? A negative times a negative gives me a positive. So I'm really going to be adding these up. So that gives me my 42x squared y. So my answer is A. Okay? All right, there we go. Yep, it's A, it's all right. Hey, Big Al, there you go. All right, so sometimes we just have to just take a breath. Hey, Janice, how are you? All right, sometimes we just have to take a breath. We'll be able to get all this stuff down, break it down slowly, because once you get used to it, then we can do a little bit faster with the progression. All right, so let's take a look at the next one. Okay, so we got a nice little novel. All right, there are 4 workers, including managers, in an office. If the salaries of the 3 managers are not included, the average salary of each employee is 5x minus $6. What do the non-managemental, you know what I'm saying, employees earn in total? Like, this is an all day of tutoring and talking, so I'm completely tongue-tied. So, is it A, is it B, C, or D? So there are 4 workers. And so 4x workers, that's representing the workers. Okay, and the salaries of 3 of the managers are not included. Okay, 3 of the managers are not included. And we want to figure out the average salary of 5x minus $6. Okay. I know, Super Big. I was the same way. I was the same way. Don't come on here and say, oh, Audrey is such a genius. No, I had to learn. Okay? But see, here's the thing. That's what keeps a lot of people from passing. That's what keeps a lot of people from trying. Oh, the word problems, I don't get it. Well, then let me break it down. But let's see what you guys can get. Do you do anything for ASVAB studies? This is what we're doing. Private, this is what we're doing, darling. All right. Okay, so I have user 45 with an A. Z is telling me it's B. Teresa, I always want to say something different. Okay, Teresa's saying B. Okay, thank you, Ivan. Appreciate it. Okay, I got 2 IMs. Is this for a GE test? Yes. You sure hope not? It is. They all have word problems. There's no escaping from it, darling. I will break it down as best I can, okay? Rosemary, we got our B. Joshua, I see your B. Okay, Keisha, I see your B. Okay, thank you for the follow. All right. Big Al's thinking it's B. All right. All right, so this is the time, to let's see what we can do. Let's see what mistakes can come out of it and all that. All right, so let me show you. Okay, let me show you. So they're talking about average salary, okay, of each employee. So we know that when they start talking average, we have all of the workers, not included these 3 managers, okay? So if there's a total of those workers, total of these workers, and we're taking away 3 of the managers, because these 3 managers for some reason are not included. So if I want to say, I'm going to say the so I'm just going to write the non-managed. So the total number of non-managed, because that's what we're looking for. Then we have the total of workers minus the 3 managers. So that will give me 4x minus 3. And since they said the average salary is 5x minus 6, that means this bad boy is going to equal 5x minus 6. Because if you do the average, you add them all up, divide by how many people we're talking about. So this is the people that we're talking about, and this will be your average, your mean. So in order for me to get the non-managed people, I have to get rid of this denominator. I need to get rid of this fraction. Fractions is nothing but division. The opposite of division is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply both sides by that 4x minus 3. Because remember, the 4x was the total of them, but they didn't include 3. So whatever we do on one side, we do on the other. So let me unzoom just a bit so you can see all of this. So what happens is these are going to cancel out. So now I need to focus up what's happening on this right-hand side because I'm isolating who I'm looking for. But this is multiplication. So I'm going to do what's called the distributive property. Some of you guys know it as FOIL. So I'm just taking this first term and I am distributing to everything in the second parenthesis. So 5x times 4x gives me 20x squared. Because x, 1x here, 1x there, there's 2 x's in common. So now 5x times negative 3. A positive times a negative will give me a negative. 5 times 3 will give me 15. And then I just bring down the x because there's 1x here and there's no x's there. So now I'm going to take this negative 6. I know a lot of people say, well, it's a minus 6. Minus 6, negative 6, the same thing. Tomato, tomato. So now, negative 6 times 4x, a negative times a positive gives me a negative. 6 times 4, 24. There's no x's here. There's 1x there, so we bring down the 1x. Now, negative times negative gives me a positive. 6 times 3 gives me 18. All right. So just by doing this, I can look at my answer choices and right away I can get rid of A and I can get rid of B. The reason why I have 20x squared, these are all 20x squares. I have a plus 18. These didn't have my plus 18, but these do. But what's different between C and D is what's happening here in the middle. So I know right here, these are my like terms, right smack in the middle. I have a negative 15 and a negative 24. So since both of them are negatives, and the rule is when the signs are the same, you're keeping the sign and you're adding them together. So actually, it's going to be a negative 39x. Since both of them are negative, we keep the sign and then we add the 15 and the 24. So from here, I see my answer. My answer is D. I circle it, I bubble it, I click it, and I move on. When you take any kind of standardized test, GED, ACCUPLACER, TEAS test, ASVAB, even the SAT, the ACT, they don't care about your scrap paper. Now, if you're currently in class, yes, keep it going, bring them down, finish it out, because you'll be able to get at least some partial credit just in case you screwed up on your signs. At least you'll get something out of it. But when it comes to these standardized tests, you don't get partial credit. It's either you know it or you don't. Okay? But once you see your answer, circle it, click it, boom, just move on. Okay? You'll save so much time because if you've taken this test before, you know the first thing that always happens, people feel that they run out of time. All right. What happened? What if you put everything in the parentheses and leave out the 4x? Then your answer is going to be wrong. Okay. Am I using meta glasses to record this? No. TikTok records all lives. Okay, I'm going to let you know where to go after that. You need some extra credit? I know. And it's just taking a guessing is not a good way to teach math. That's why I try to have in our lunch. What? Okay. All right. Okay. You use your measuring tape. Well, that's math, shelf guy. I love that. Okay. Do not hold back. Okay. So that's all you have to do. You don't have to translate. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. All right. So. Okay. Okay. TikTok. What am I using to record? TikTok. They record all the lives. All right. Yep. All the lives that every time someone does a live, it's being recorded by TikTok. You guys didn't know that? Now you know? Did I shock you? Did I hurt you? All right. So here's 27. Okay, what is the value of 45xy plus 63y squared over 9y if x equals 6 and y equals 3? Is your answer going to be A, 12, B, 51, C, 108, or D, 153? So where I'm original, you're asking what am I using for this live? Yeah, I'm using my phone. Okay, is this ASVAB? Yes, it is. It's ASVAB, it's GED, it's ACCUPLACER, it's Algebra 1, especially if you're doing evaluations. It's all of that. Okay. Not me? Okay. Yep. Yep, it's algebra, bro. Okay. All right. Gotcha. Okay, so user 45 is saying B. Okay. Brooke is saying B. Hello, OF Club. Thank you for the love. Appreciate you. Okay. All right. Not a problem. Not a problem, my Jersey person. Okay. KD is saying B. All right. Ryan's thinking it's C. Oh, you passed your college algebra final? Good job. That's awesome. Yeah, 'tis the year. Hey, Candy. Okay. If not B, you'll hit 10 push-ups. All right. I want to see it. I want you to post it. How to do these? Okay. Can you use a calculator for the GED? Last time I checked, you cannot. Yes, I am going to show the answer. I always do. Okay. So for this one, you could factor if you want to, because a lot of it does have 9y in common, and then do your substitution. You can do that. But no matter what, because if you want to do that, you can. But you're still going to have to substitute to evaluate. So if you want to, I noticed that 45, 63, and 9, they all have 9 in common. So if you want to make things a little bit smaller before you substitute, you can do that. So because I know if I have to multiply my 6 and my 3 times that by 45, let's be real. Again, the GED, you won't be allowed to use a calculator. I know the ASVAB, you definitely will not be able to use a calculator, and same thing with the ACCUPLACER. So that's why I do a lot of things by hand. So if I want to, I could cancel out the 9, the 45, and the 63 because they're all of the multiples of 9. So if I did this, this will turn into a 1. Okay, the 45 will turn into a 5. Then we have our 63 divided by 9. That will turn into a 7. Then I can see all of them have a y in common. Oh, look at that. I can cancel out this y, I can cancel out this y, and I have one y remaining up top here. So let me clean this off because it looks like everything down here has canceled out. So now I have 5x plus 7y. So much easier, right? Don't have to deal with crazy numbers that's going to be squared and everything. Now you can do your substitution. Now you can do 5, substitute the 6 in for the x, and then 7 times substitute my 3 for the y. So 5 times 6 gives me 30. And then 7 times 3 gives me 21. And then 30 plus 21, that gives us B, 51. Okay. Yep, it's still B. See? Does qualify for special forces? Okay. So I know if you need to get that, you're going to have to deal with a little bit more than Algebra 2. So you're going to be dealing more with at least calculus. Okay, so if you haven't brushed up, and if this is a little tough, you're just going to have to keep practicing. Okay, and then also expose yourself to a little more pre-calculus and calculus, at least the first Calc 1. Okay. What if I just send you, and we can do it together? Your Algebra 2 study guide. Oh, to get ready for your test? I do that. Yep, I do tutoring. I charge my TikTok family $77. So if you guys have a final exam coming up and you need some assistance, let me know. Because last week was crazy. Everybody needed assistance. Everybody. Like when I tell you from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Wednesday, I was tutoring with like a little bit of straightness. And if you do need some assistance, just message me. That'll work. So you're going back to college? All right, no problem. Yep, I help people. I had 2 people. And I got 1 more. She's taking her final this week, but 2 people passed their college algebra exam. So really happy. All right. Yeah, it is rough out here. I know, especially if you haven't been through it for a minute. All right, so for 28, okay, we are going to simplify. Simplify, simplify, simplify. And you might be able to see the trick. There is a little trick with this one. Okay, Jeremiah. Okay, saying D. Brooke is saying D. Okay. When you understand it, yep. Algebra with geometry, will this help? Well, this will help with all the basics. So it's just like, you know, and plus I can tell you, I might as well just tell you right now. Since some people are working these problems out. Oh, as soon as I can find my thing. It was right here. Oh, here it is. Okay, so if anything, because this is what I do out of love for you guys, if you can't stay, which I understand, it's still during the day. Some people got to go pick up their kids and all that stuff. All of my replays are here. Okay, so if you go here and you go here, that's my channel. And there is a playlist that says TikTok Lives. I know I was really deep with the title. And you will see like all of my lives since February the 2nd. I do some general stuff like this, but I also do specifics. So like if you need help with factoring, finding the equation of the line, system of equations, system of inequalities, adding, subtracting fractions, decimals, what else is there? A little probability, a little bit of geometry. I also talk about those 4-point questions that I just mentioned about the GED. So just go. And if you want to do all this, that'll be lovely. Go ahead and hit subscribe down there. It is a free subscription. So far, all this is free. The only thing that's not free is my tutoring, because that's more generalized. So if you want, that's where you can go and just take a look. Some people say that the videos have helped them. And also like some of the replays help them as well. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Queen. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Yep, the IBEW as well. And actually, I had one person that passed it with me. Geez, I want to say it was just early fall. He passed it. So, not a problem, Beach Baby. Not a problem. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So if you need more specifics, I do tutoring. So, and I will be doing tutoring over the holiday because a lot of my students are either doing their vacay, but I'm not going anywhere. So if you ever need to get started, that'll be the perfect time. All right. Now let's get back to this problem here. So hopefully you guys have noticed that. Let me highlight it for you. Each of the stuff inside the parentheses was exactly the same. Okay? So what we could do is we can cancel some things out and then see what's left behind. So if we, and this is what I mean by that. So I'm going to divide each of these terms by this divisor. So that means these two can cancel out, and what's left behind is 3x. These two can cancel out, and what's left behind is minus 2x. These two can cancel out, and since it doesn't have anything there, what's assumed to be in front of that parenthesis is a 1. So we have a minus 1. So now we got like terms right here. I know, right? You didn't have to do all that crazy distribution and all that stuff. Sometimes you got to look. Sometimes they give you little tricks. If I combine those, 3x minus 2x, that gives me 1x, or just x. And then I bring down the minus 1. So my answer is D. Okay. So if you take a look, when you're doing division, all of the parentheses, who said that? Fems, I think it is. Okay. All of the parentheses were exactly the same. So that means you can divide those two. If you divide them, this divided by this will give you 1. Anything divided by itself is equal to 1. So if you want to do 3x times 1, it's still going to give you 3x. Once I divide these two, I'm going to have my minus 2x left. That comes down. When I divide these two, what's going to be left is a minus sign. But remember what I said, anything divided by itself is equal to 1. We're going to kind of need that 1 this time because there's nothing here, assuming it's a 1. So 3x minus 2x gives me 1x, or just x. And then you bring down the minus 1, which gives you the answer of D. Yep. When you're dividing, you can cancel like terms. Yes, you can, Houston. Okay, you got it? There you go, Fems. I got you. Because you're doing division. All right. Let's try another one. Thank you so much for the follows, guys, and the likes. I appreciate that. You know, I love to break things down. Okay, I like to break it down. All right, as long as I'm done by 4 my time, I can go on for the next 15 minutes. Okay, so let's see if we can get this done. All right, here's another word problem. They love these word problems, like they savor it. Okay, if 3H people in one country and 4K people in the neighboring country each consumes H minus 17 pounds of rice per year on average, how many pounds of rice would be consumed by both countries in 1 year? Okay. So even if I read it like this, if the people in one country and the people in a neighboring country consume so many pounds of rice per year on average, how many pounds of rice will be consumed in a year? And since this is happening with both of them, okay, and we're looking at what each of these are doing. So we're going to have, I think it's going to be so much easier if I do it this way. We're going to add these two countries together, right? So we have 3H plus 4K. Okay? And we know each of them are going to have a certain amount of rice. So instead of me going 3H times H minus 17 and then the 4K, why don't we just multiply them? Make them into factors. Okay, so all my ASVAB people, when you get a question like this, you're definitely high up. Like this is like in the 70s. Okay, especially when you get detailed into this. Now the process is just merely distributive property. So here's the first thing that I do, and this is how I know which of my answers is going to be. So when I distribute, I take my 3H and I'm going to distribute to everything into that second parenthesis. Okay, awesome. I'm seeing it. So we got 3H times H. So that means we have 3H squared, because H times H gives me H squared. Okay, when you're multiplying, you're adding the exponents. Take a look at your answer choice. Hey, Michael, how are you? What should my answer be? There we go. We don't have an F. Yes. There you go, Kale. Good. Keep going. There's over 400 of us, so we should all have a huge shot. Everybody's putting the answer in. There you go. Tiffany Gray, thank you. Sarah, thank you. Kale Lover, thank you. Maha, thank you. Michael, I see you. Thank you. Moni, thank you. Bobby, thank you. Z, thank you. Sweet Tea, awesome. Isn't it nice to hear your name over here? Is that Aylin? Help me with the breakdown. I want to make sure I say your name right. Okay, Ray, so Rayanna saying good. With Lynette, thank you. Is that Mafum? Okay. Nanish. Okay, Ray. Priscilla, there we go. That's it. Notice I didn't have to do anything else. Because are there any, if I keep doing any distribution, this is going to be the only 3H squared up there. All right. So right away, I'm looking at my answer choices. The only one that has 3H squared is D. And you're like, well, how do you know that's it? Because there's no other answer choices that's going to give me a 3H squared. So then save that time to put it into another problem. If you want to see it, you know, all of a sudden you got your 3H times your negative 17. That's what it is. So anytime you do standardized stuff, they're going to give you little itty bitty clues like that. Now, if it's between two numbers and say there's two of them that has 3H squares, yes, I will continue on. Or I would do this. I would multiply my 4K times my negative 17. So I know that this is going to be a K. I know 4 times 8 is 28, carry to 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. And I know this is negative and this is positive. So that will give me a negative 68K. All right, this one has negative 68K, but it doesn't have my 3H squared. This one gives me my negative 68K and it gives me my 3H squared. So that's my answer. So sometimes when you do FOIL, you might just need to do the first and the last just to give you some clue on which one to pick. Okay? Just give you a little heads up. All right, let's get going. Let's see if we can do these last three. All right. Zoom in just a little bit. All right, so we need to simplify. Okay, use the trick that we did earlier. Hint, hint. You didn't know you were going to get that ASMR, right? Use the trick that we did earlier. Take a look. They're giving you a clue. Big G money. I see you. Tally. Hello. Haven't seen you guys in a minute. Okay, Tally saying D. Where did the 51 come from? What are you talking about? Healthy kitchen. Okay, please show all steps. See, here's the thing, Audrey. You can get all the steps with my tutoring. Okay, I would love to show all the steps, but considering I have to go and tutor in the next 6 minutes, gotta do what I gotta do. Okay. For the previous one, okay, I'll take a look at it in a moment. And then plus, you're getting all this for freeze. Oh, thank you, Jackie. Hello, Joy. How are you? Okay. Bobby saying B, Z saying C. Diva. Thank you, Diva. Appreciate you. 3 times negative 17. Good. Okay, user 45 is saying A. And thank you so much for sharing the live. Appreciate you. Is that 1? I always want to see some of your numbers. 1 LU. Okay, so 1, I'm going to say you have a B. Good. Thank you, Rosemary. Appreciate that. Shells saying D. Thank you. Thank you. Good, good, good. See, I love this. I love this. Okay, B with 0 confidence. Maha. Come on now. I need for you with the confidence. Let's change that. Let's change that. Sasha saying A. Tilted, how are you? Saying A. Tiffany Gray saying B. Justin saying D. Lynette saying A. All right. So let's take a look. Okay, similar to that one problem that we had earlier. I think it was 28, if I'm not mistaken. Look inside the parentheses. Okay, take a look. We got x plus y. We have x plus y squared. We are being divided by x plus y. And we have another x plus y. So this is what can happen. So if we divide everything up individually, so each of these terms are going to be divided by x plus y. Okay, so if I divide, maybe I should write it out so you can see it. So we have our 4x squared times x plus y, and we're going to divide that by x plus y. We're going to have our negative 2 x plus y squared times x minus y. Now, x minus y is not the same thing. Okay. And then lastly, we have our minus xy, x plus y over x plus y. Okay, so take a gander. So for the first one, I noticed that x plus y and x plus y, they can cancel out. So what's left is my 4x squared. All right. Here we have this x plus y squared. That means there's 2 of them being represented. But I can cancel out one set. So that's what's going to be left, which is minus 2 times x plus y times x minus y. Okay. Then lastly, x plus y, they can cancel out. And I bring down my minus x, y. Okay. So you're probably saying, all right, Audrey, well, what we're going to do? Well, let's do a process of elimination. The first term is 4x squared. So if I take a look, I got two of them, that's 4x squared. So we cancel out a and we cancel out d. Now this one is telling me a minus xy, but something is happening right here in the center. So what we can do is we're going to take a look at this. If I do the distributive property, which I'm going to be a little more advanced, let's go. They're exactly the same thing, but they're different signs. Shortcut. Ready? We're going to multiply x times x. So that gives me x squared. Wait, hold on. Yeah, that's right. So x times x, that will give me my x squared. A positive times a negative, that will be a negative. And y times y gives me y squared. Okay. But then we're multiplying this by 2. In fact, a negative 2. So when we do this, we're going to have, and I'm going to write on my paper soon, we're going to have a negative 2x squared. Ooh, I jumped ahead, didn't I? Then negative 2 times a negative 2 gives me a positive 2. Then we have our y squared. Yeah, I jumped ahead. This is what happens when I try to get so close. And I'm going to bring down my 4x squared. The reason why I said, ooh, I jumped ahead, because I got a y squared here. And the only ones that give me a y squared is an a. So let's do this. 4x squared minus 2x squared gives me 2x squared. Oh, a is looking pretty good now. Plus 2y squared. Oh, a is looking good. Minus xy. So it is a. Look at the human being making the mistake, but here we go. All right. Oops. 1 second. Gotta do this puzzle piece thingy. Is anyone else how to do that? Okay, so it is A. It is definitely A. Because once I saw this y squared happening, I was like, I might want to rethink this, because the only ones that have a y squared is that A. So then we just had to keep on going. All right. Okay, cool. All right, let's see if we can do, we got like a minute, but here is a puzzle piece, and I know for sure a lot of you guys are going to want to leave after this, but don't. So they gave us a puzzle piece. So they're saying each place represents a horizontal number multiplied by the vertical number. I'm used to saying that this is the box method. When you do the box method, you usually multiply to fill the boxes. But they're giving us a little bit of hint. So they want to know which of the following is equal to A. And I'm like, let me see if I can give you guys a moment. So is it A is 2? Is A 4? Is A 5? Or is A 10? So let's see if we can get that. Because I want to snatch it away. Fatima, it was multiplied. That's where the x squared minus the y squared came from. Okay, so Michael's saying it's A. Is it Nalo? Is saying it's A. User 45 is saying it's A. Okay. Thanks for the stickers. If you guys want to use some of my fun little stickers, you can just join my lovely subscription club. Just hit the heart next to my name. Okay. What in the world is this? This is algebra. Now, if anyone is here for TEAS test, HESI test, and needs help with their dosage calculations, I always keep saying this, make sure you guys hit up a Blessed RN. She's actually in the chat right now. She's amazing with the dosage calculations. If you want to learn it quick and just get down to the nitty of the gritty so you can keep people alive, which is always a good thing. Definitely follow her and join her for her lives. Okay? Algebra. All right. No problem. All right, so let me take this because I have to get going. Here, they're giving us some hints. So they're saying if we need to multiply to fill the boxes, that means 5 times 4 gives me this 20, right? Over here, it's saying AB times 4 is 40. Well, if we know 4 times what will give me 40? So like 4 times 10, right? But if we're seeking and we're just kind of looking, this is telling me that if I'm going to get 5 times A to give me AB, that means B has to equal 5. So if B equals 5, I know that AB is going to equal 40. And if I do divide by 40, no, that's not how I want to do it. So AB, 5 times 4 gives me 20. If this gives me 40, that means this number up here should be 10. And if 5 is B, that means A has to be 2. That's how it is. So 5 times 4 gives me 20. 4 times what gives me 40? 4 times 10. But I know that my B is going to be 5 because if I have 5 times A, it will give me 5A. And then 5 times 4 will give me my 20. So in order for me to get 10, so 5 times 2 will give me my 10. So it will be A. Interesting though. Okay, so AB is 10. And then in order for me, because we have that repeat of B's, B has to be 5. So that means A has to be 2. Okay. All right. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm going to have to get going because I have to go tutor. Now, again, if you want to see all my replays, just come here. Okay. Come in here. All of my replays, give me time for today's replay so I can get it up there. Because sometimes I have to download it. But then I have my subscribe. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. But if you need a tutor, you need to get ready for your college algebra. I do have tutoring sessions, which for you guys will be $77. For everyone outside of TikTok, it is $92. Okay, so I'm giving you a discount. All right, so if you have any love, go ahead, send it. Message me. I always check all my message requests, but please don't just say hi because I'm going to delete it. Tell me what you need, and then I can break it on down for you guys. All right. Yeah, it did went around the bush, didn't it? It went around all around the color. Okay, so I will see you guys next time. Again, if you need any assistance, just go ahead and message me. And I will be available definitely over the holidays, and be on the lookout for something new that I've been working on. It's about to come out hopefully before the new year. All right. So I will talk with you soon. Have a wonderful day and take care. Stay safe. Bye now.